Question 13. Solve the equation 4x squared minus x minus 3 equals 0. You must use an algebraic method and show all your working. Right then, so this question here, they clearly tell you to use an algebraic method, and that just means you're not going to draw that 4x squared minus x minus 3 on a grid and then find out where the curve cuts the x-axis, because that's the solutions. But you're not going to do that. You're going to solve it algebraically, okay, not graphically. That's all that means. And if you have done this topic before, you immediately going to recognize it is factorizing the harder quadratic equations and then solve it. Okay, it is harder quadratic equation because your coefficient of x squared is not 1, it is 4 here. Okay, so I'm just going to write that down again. Now, when you factorize a harder quadratic equations, these are the methods that I've been teaching my students. I know there are a lot of different ways of doing it, but this is the way that I've been teaching my students. So you need to think about a pair of numbers. When you times, give me, you're going to times 4 and minus 3 here. So 4 times minus 3, and that gives you minus 12. Okay, and when you add them, these two numbers, okay, going to add, give me the coefficient of the x term, which is minus 1 here, okay? Can you see that? It is the one that in front of your x there, which is minus 1, okay? Right, so if I look at this bit here, they look a bit quite close to what I wanted. So 4 at minus 3 is 1. 4 times minus 3 is minus 12. So all I got to do is actually swap the size, okay? So I got minus 4 times 3, that would be minus 12 still, but minus 4 add 3, that will give you minus 1, and that is perfect. Those are the numbers that I need, okay? Right, next step, I'm going to split that minus 1x or minus x into these two numbers that I need, okay? So it will be minus 4x plus 3x. Here you go. Minus 4x plus 3x is minus 1x. Perfect. Right, everything else stays the same. So you got 4x squared, take away 4x plus 3x, take away 3 equals 0. Everything else stays the same. Next step, we're going to factorize. Is always going to be a pair of terms that you need to go to factorize again. Right, taking the common factor out, which is 4x. What's going to be left in the bracket? X minus 1 plus, again, factorizing 3x minus 3, take 3 out, you got x minus 1. Now, at this point here, if you haven't seen anything in common like this, x minus 1, you know you have done something wrong, okay? And you need to go back to the pair of numbers that you have there. It needs to be the same numbers, the same x inside the bracket. It needs to be exactly the same term. And why do we need that to be the same? Because we're going to take it out as a common factor again, which is x minus 1, and what's left is 4x plus 3, and that's going to be equal 0. Okay, and this is perfect now because you have just factorized the quadratic equations and we're going to solve it. So just make it equal to 0 at each of the terms in the bracket. Okay, so it means x equal to 1 or x equal to minus 3 or 4. You know how to solve equations. So that's all you got there. Okay, so the 3 marks will be going to factorize this way, the method, got the factorization correct, and then finally your answer correct. So 1, 2, 3.